In today's adventure of an episode, we're reading about some more entitled people. It's going to be such a fun time, and I hope you're ready for this, guys. And with that being said, enjoy. Boyfriend got bruises from a girl on a plane. I can't believe I finally have a reason to post here. My boyfriend, 27 male, is the sweetest, most understanding, non-confrontational person ever. He's also 6'4", 100% gentle giant. We were on a plane visiting family. He has the aisle seat, and there's a girl maybe 20 years old sitting in front of him. Before we take off, boyfriend happens to be getting something out of his backpack under the seat. Without warning, this girl thrusts her seat back with all of her might, slamming into my boyfriend's knees and face. Surprised, he leans back, but this girl seems confused about why her seat isn't going back very far, cause you know boyfriend has long legs and she literally hit his face. He let her continue to slam her seat on his knee multiple times until he finally said, "Please stop." She had no headphones on, was not distracted, and could obviously hear him, and she didn't answer him, though she did stop. She did the thing where she flipped her long hair over the seat onto his lap, which I really only thought people faked on TikTok. There was an old lady sitting next to boyfriend, bless her heart, who poked the girl and said, "You're being very rude." The girl still didn't answer. This old woman had a petty battle with this girl the entire flight to try and move the long hair out of my boyfriend's lap. Girl flips her hair, old lady moves it back. I genuinely can't believe people like this are real. It was only a 1-hour flight. I was in a different part of the plane, but if I would have known this girl was literally hurting a stranger, much less somebody I love, I would not have let her get away with it. She needed to move her seat up for takeoff anyway. He didn't let her push her seat back again, though she really did try. Never a single word from her through the entire ordeal. Absolutely insane. Well, we're coming in hot on this episode. That is so bloody entitled. The top comment says, "Gently open the tray table and then slam it shut on her hair." And yeah, for them to not say anything and not even apologize. Oh, that's so annoying. I can't stand people like this. The next one is called, "She told me she's gonna use my phone." My goodness, I'm at the laundromat putting clothes in the dryer and this woman comes up to me. Mind you, I'm actively using my phone to use the laundromat app. It's cool, you can use it instead of quarters. No hello or anything, just launches into it. Her, "I want to call my daughter, but my phone isn't working." Me, "Huh? It's not working." Her, "No, it's 555. Me, I think the front desk has a phone that you can use." So thankfully she went to go and ask them to use the phone. The thing that got me was that she didn't even ask, just expected me to comply. Like, you've been around the last 3 years, right? I don't know you or want your germs on my phone, lady. Yeah, wow, that's interesting. I wonder if they actually did want to use your phone or if they were going to take it. Cause yeah, I wouldn't be surprised even a little bit if you handed them your phone and they were like, "Okay, see ya, it's my phone now." But yeah, that's right. The fact that they just expected you to comply is so wild. Like, are you talking to me? Do you realize that I'm a stranger? And not only that, do you realize that I don't have to do what you say? Like, hey, manners exist. My grandma who raised me offered to help me buy a house and stepbrother's girlfriend is upset by it. So my grandma raised me since I was 2 years old because I got taken away from my parents. I never knew my mother, so I called her mum. She didn't really help me a lot as an adult unless I was really desperate. She is a lot older now and I think she wants to make it right with me before it's her time. So my dad, my grandma's son, ended up having a lot of other kids with his girlfriend they didn't take good care of. My dad was a drug addict, so a lot of those kids followed him and became drug addicts or criminals themselves. His girlfriend had 4 kids before she hooked up with my dad. Anyway, my stepbrother, we'll call him Nick, not his name, had been in and out of jail almost his entire life. He met this girl and she seems like a good girl. We'll call her Kim. Kim is keeping Nick out of trouble. I thought I was building a friendship with Kim and I gave Nick a second chance. Me and my husband had them out to our house and we fed them dinner. My grandma invited them to Christmas and she cooked dinner and always treated Kim good, even when Nick was in jail. I even went to her apartment 45 minutes away on my only day off to help her clean her apartment when she had surgery. It was bad too. I took 12 bags of garbage out of her apartment and was there cleaning for like 5 hours for free just to help her. So Nick finally made it out of jail right before Christmas. I listened to Kim vent about him being in jail many times. I felt bad for her because I thought she had no one else. Fast forward, I'm currently trying to get a mortgage to get a house of my own and stop renting. I told my grandma I didn't know if I could get it because I didn't have enough for a down payment. She told me that she'd help me. I told her thank you, but I feel bad to take from her. Of course, I'll be paying her back at tax time, so probably only need it for a month or two. Thinking Kim was my friend, I ended up telling her that my grandma said she'd help me. She got all mad about it and said that she wouldn't help them with money for a car. They just got approved for a car and they want her to help them with a second car for him so he can work. I didn't know that they asked her for money. I never had a criminal record. I went to jail. I have full intentions of paying my grandma back in a couple of months. I have 2 kids, her grandchildren, who she loves very much, and plus she's like my mum. I think Kimmy's acting really entitled. Nick doesn't even have a job yet either. I'm thinking of keeping my distance from her at this point. I honestly don't care that much about a friendship, but I'm kind of hurt that she would be mad about my grandma helping me out. She's only been with Nick for a couple of years. I just needed to vent. Yeah, like the top comment says, grandma is wise not to loan money to somebody without a job. Yeah, 100%. They probably wouldn't even pay them back. And who knows, maybe they wouldn't have even had intentions of paying them back. And the grandma is not obligated to give them money. Yeah, no, you're right, OP. They sound super entitled. And if I were you, I wouldn't be telling them about stuff like this in the future. A giant line doesn't apply to me. I went to a New Year's Eve celebration last night. Big outdoor event with food trucks and amusement rides. Around 11 p.m. we got into line to get some grub. Every truck has a 10+ person line. No biggie. Patience is a virtue. Now we've been waiting for about 30 minutes. It's nearing midnight and we haven't ordered. Still, we wait patiently because there's 3 people working and they're just humans doing their best. Insert entitled woman. A lady in a fur jacket and high heels comes up to the woman in front of us, who's finally one person behind the window, and says, "Hi, can I give you my money and you order my food for me?" The waiting lady gives her a solid 5-second stare before responding, nah, I've been waiting in this line for more than 30 minutes. You gotta wait too." The colour drains then from fur jacket's face. Clearly she wasn't expecting a no. She then awkwardly scurries off to the side and was throwing a bit of a fit with her husband how she's hungry and it's almost midnight. Later, after we order and step off to wait, she's at the back of the line holding a sign an employee gave her that says, "End of the line." Wow, that's so funny. Not only did they go to the end of the line, but they had to hold a sign that said it. Yeah, like the top comment says, the sign holding thing is new to me. It sounds like the same sort of thing that cashiers put at the end of conveyor belts in supermarkets before they close up. In this case, it's like a sandwich board of shame. Yeah, it is. That's so funny. Like, oh no, I've got to wait like everybody else. Damn it. There's something so fun about reading about entitled people. A customer demands my personal cell phone number and then blames me for him losing his job. I work as a claims adjuster for auto accidents. A customer filed a claim after hours, and I follow up with him first thing in the morning. I have no information on the vehicle other than what he reported, and I inform him there's a possibility of it being a total loss. He immediately jumps down my throat and tells me he doesn't want his car to be a total loss, and he doesn't want me to have it moved to another location for an in-person inspection. I start to discuss an alternative with him when he starts cursing at me and berating me, constantly interrupting me and telling me to just pay the claim. If it were that easy of a job, I'd be paid less and my job would be a hell of a lot easier. I explain that per his insurance agreement, we have to inspect the vehicle before I can make a payment for his claim, and we need to see if it's going to be a total loss or repairable. He continues to be an ass, so I inform him that I'll disconnect the call and I'll try talking to him again once he's regained his composure. I hang up and I go into a meeting, and he proceeds to call our customer service line over and over and over. He harassed a total of 4 women and refused to end the call until I accepted his call. I explained I was in a meeting and I wouldn't be out for at least another 30 minutes or so. He continued to stay on the line with them for a few more minutes before hanging up and calling customer service again. I finally have a chance to call him back, and I explain that we can try to work with his shop in having them submit some photos so we can do preliminary checks to at least see if the car is a total loss or not. He tells me that he sent me photos from the night before. I explain that there were no attachments on the emails he sent me and that we need very specific photos to have the most accurate review. He proceeds to tell me that it's my job to call the shop and request them, which is what I told him at the start of the call anyway. He then demands my cell phone number. I explain that I don't have a work cell phone. He states that he wants my cell phone to be able to reach me over the weekend. I inform him I will not be providing that information to him. He demanded it a few more times before stating that he wanted to talk with my supervisor. I stated she was already informed of the situation and will be reaching out to him when she's able to. I'm not allowed to give out her contact information. He tells me that I need to have her call him immediately. I remind him that she's my supervisor and I can't dictate her schedule. He proceeds to try to keep me on the phone until his demands are met. I inform him that I'm going to disconnect the call if there's nothing further to discuss, and he ends the call. I called the shop and they also gave me attitude, stating that I was keeping a good man from his job and that I shouldn't be wasting his time like this. I asked if they could email the photos to me just so I could get it done, and they say that they will. I have a pretty uncommon last name, so I made sure to spell it out for them multiple times since it's part of my email address. 2 hours before I leave for the day, I still don't have the photos. I text the customer and I let him know, and he told me that he'd call them. 5 minutes before I'm supposed to leave, I call the shop again, and I don't get an answer or an option to leave a message. I text the customer to let him know that the photos aren't received yet, and he won't be able to move forward on his claim until Monday. He starts blaming me for working in a different time zone, stating that it isn't fair that I work 3 hours ahead of him. I explained that I don't work 3 hours ahead of him, I'm just 1 hour ahead, and the shop had all day to send me the photos needed. He now states that since he doesn't have a rental, didn't purchase the coverage, he's going to be fired on Monday, and it's all my fault. I offer to set him up with a discounted rental, and he tells me that he doesn't have a rental company in his area, but it's still my fault for him losing his job. Goodness gracious, I'm so sorry to hear that. You mean to tell me that your employer is so heartless as to fire you for missing a workday unexpectedly when it's your first occurrence or infraction with them? You may want to contact your state Department of Labor then. He tells me I should pay the claim, and that I'm holding up his claim for no reason, just to make life difficult for him. I wonder what he thinks happens to adjusters who don't follow due diligence on a claim and just pay it. We don't get cookies, that's for sure. In fact, we face termination with our employer, fines with the state that the claim was handled in, and possibly jail time. Oh yeah, and our employer can sue us for the money that we paid to the customer without authorization, and if the customer knowingly cashes the check when they know their claim wasn't supposed to have been paid out, they get reported to the federal government for insurance fraud and sued by the insurance company for repayment of the claim. I guess I'll see what he has to say on Monday. My supervisor has been reading my notes and keeping up to date with the claim, and she's going to have a very fun conversation with him, especially when all the calls exhibiting his bad behavior were recorded. Edit to add, this one's a single vehicle accident where the customer hit a large object in the road that he absolutely should have seen. I won't state the specifics in case he's a Redditor. He did not file a police report, and he wanted to send me photos from the scene of the accident, which took place at night, and became even more irate when I stated I needed a VIN photo from the sticker inside his driver's side door. Wow, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with this, OP. This sounds awful. Reading stuff like this makes me really grateful that I don't have to work with other people, especially entitled people like this. I really feel for you, OP. They sound insufferable. And yeah, like you said, OP, I'm pretty sure they're not going to fire them just for this. There's got to be other stuff going on that they're not talking about. Yeah, wow, some people are unbelievable. My ex-sister-in-law from hell and her ill-mannered kids. Just a few days before Christmas, my husband's older brother's ex-wife called to say that they're in town from Texas and wanted her kids to see their cousins, my kids. We'd been extremely busy and we had many plans between my husband's aggressive chemotherapy treatments and life in general, but I told him that we have 2 hours in between our busy schedules. They came over and we welcomed them and we were gracious hosts. The older son, Billy, asked about our Christmas lights. I told him that they were Gofi lights and how it comes equipped with preset lights for every different occasion or holiday, and I've been making my own patterns on it. He asked me to show it to him, which I did, but then he asked if he could make some too. I told him no, because last time you had my phone you downloaded a few games and a couple of them had viruses, which my cell phone carrier had to put a stop to. My husband and I have some properties and a property management company. I got a call and I walked away to answer it. As I come back to where everybody was seated, Billy grabs the phone out of my hand and I asked him to give it back, but he held the phone away from me. I'm 5'7" and just under 130 pounds versus his 6 foot and over 260 pounds. My husband walked over and grabbed it just as rudely and told him never to grab things out of people's hands. Well, the mother Barb didn't like that. She said this many times that we don't like to say no to our kids because there are too many no's in the world. Meanwhile, Billy's throwing a temper tantrum while Nick, the second born, couldn't keep his hands off the candy jar. I got this candy jar that's like a tree with 5 glass jars. I fill it up with colourful candies. I had sealed it so we don't have a temptation to have some. There were some leftovers that I gave them. They grabbed handfuls and stuffed their pockets with it, so I don't know why he wanted more. Anyway, the candy jars come crashing down and there's glass everywhere. My husband cleaned it all up and I very calmly told Barb that she owes me $300. She was shocked that I asked because old me would have just gotten over it, but prior to all of this I'd gone out and I bought Nike brand t-shirts for the 2 older ones and toys for the younger ones. They opened up the gifts and Nick and Billy both said, "Is this all we're getting?" So after the candy crash I went off on them, beginning by saying, "What did you get for my kids?" A couple of small card games. Did we say anything about it? My kids thanked you when they went about to play. They left in a huff because I reminded them that we have prior commitments, hopefully never to see them again. Barb left my husband's brother after she lost 80 pounds. My brother-in-law is now deceased. I'm so done with selfish people. Yeah, that's awful. And them not saying no to the kids. Yeah, like the top comment says, "Oh, I would never have them as guests in your home ever again." And seriously, that's her parenting method, to never say the word no to her kids. I hope she enjoys visiting them in prison someday. Yeah, and if not that extreme, they're still going to end end up just as entitled and rude as their mum. Oh, that's so frustrating. They're coming into your house and they're acting like this. That's infuriating. I tried to return an expensive dress. A story somewhere here this morning about entitled people trying to return clothing reminded me of this from many years ago. My sister was working in a Myer store many years ago. One Friday, a local socialite came in and bought a very expensive dress. Come Monday mid-morning, she comes back into the store asking for a refund because she didn't like the dress and it wasn't a good fit. My sister had just happened to be reading the local paper and she turned it around and pointed to a photograph and said, "Oh, I don't know. It looked like it fitted you well here on Saturday night." Entitled person left and she didn't get the refund she expected. Wait, so the customer was in the newspaper wearing the dress? Is that right, or did I miss something here? Yeah, like it actually fitted you really well. You just want to get your money back for it, like Homer when he's talking about a toothbrush.
Maybe we could use it once and then return it.
Marge, we're not talking about a toothbrush here.
I don't want to see that movie. I was going to the movie theaters with a very close friend of mine and his girlfriend. We were going to see the new Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. While we waited, there was a mother in front of us who just spent a fortune buying her kid a giant popcorn and a giant Coke and 2 tickets to the latest kids movie. When the kid found out what movie he was going to, he threw a huge tantrum because he didn't want to see that film. He wanted to see another kids movie, but the employees told him that the movie wasn't showing anymore. When he heard this, he let out a satanic roar and threw his popcorn down on the ground. The drink exploded everywhere and it even hit me and my friend's girlfriend, staining some of her clothes and several other people in line. The kid's mother was beyond embarrassed and took her son and stormed out of the cinema. We all just stared at each other, not so sure what happened. After all, Spider-Man was awesome. We actually saw 2 people dressed up as Spider-Man and we had a really great time despite what happened when we first arrived. Wow, I feel sorry for the mum. Like just a kid freaking out for no reason. Yeah, well, I feel like that's enough for today. I hope you guys had a wonderful time, but let's read something wholesome. Excuse me, where's my girl? Aw, there she is. So cute. Every time I go to bed, after about 10 or 15 minutes, I can sort of feel something on the bed, and it's literally Jin and Nez doing this. That's so cute. A little girl in my street has a very old pug with severe arthritis. Today, I saw her gently strap him into a baby stroller and wait for the postie so they could chase after it, running and laughing as the pup barked like hell. You know, just in case you forgot what love means. Wow, that's so funny. So they're chasing the postman down the street. Give me and my dog our mail. That's adorable. You'll appreciate this picture more than most. They moved out of the way so I could take a picture of Mount Fuji. Wow, the absolute legends. They look so cool. And this picture is so much better that they're in it. It wouldn't be nearly as good if it was just Mount Fuji. That's adorable and such a good memory too. And on that beautiful note, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Guro Blue. Thank you for the amazing content, Vince. I didn't hear about Nice Girls in quite some time. It was fun, and Happy New Year to all. May you become happier in the upcoming year. Wow, thank you for this comment. That's so awesome, and thank you for watching the episodes, and I'm glad you think that the videos are amazing. You're far too kind, and yeah, absolutely. Happy New Year, everybody. Gonna be an awesome year. That was a good episode. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you tomorrow for the next one. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!